If you're in product, you already know that leadership isn't really about the title on your business card. Nope, it's about something way more powerful, a kind of force that has its own gravity. So let's break down this essential skill of influence and figure out how you can really master it. I'm guessing this one sounds pretty familiar, right? It's a classic line in the product world, and for good reason. It hits so close to home. You are responsible for whether a product sinks or swims, but you're not the captain giving the orders. You don't directly manage most of the people you absolutely depend on.
And that right there, that is the core challenge. It's this central paradox. You have to guide, align, and drive these massive projects forward, all without the formal authority to just snap your fingers and make it happen. So how do you solve for that? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into. All right, so first up, let's really dig into this paradox of having to lead, of having to influence, without having formal authority. Because honestly, understanding the problem is the most critical first step to actually solving it. You see, the need for influence isn't some static thing. It grows right along with your career. When you're a product manager, you're focused, right? On a single product, a shorter time horizon. But as you move into product leadership, your whole world expands. Suddenly you're looking at a whole portfolio, and your timeline stretches out for years. And that means you have to influence way more people across way more teams on much, much bigger bets. The stakes just get higher, and so does the need for real, genuine influence. Okay, let's make this super real for a second. Picture this. Sophie, your head of sales, storms over to your desk. She's demanding a brand new feature for the very next release. It wasn't on the roadmap, not even close. Now, if you give in, you could derail your whole strategy. But if you say no, you could seriously damage a key relationship. You can't just command a solution here. So what do? This is it. This is where influence becomes your absolute most critical tool. To get through that conversation with Sophie, you need real influence. But let's pause. What does that word even mean? What is it, really? Before we can start building it, we have to define it. And here's the key distinction. Influence isn't about forcing someone to do something. It's about convincing them. It's the art of getting things done because people choose to follow your lead, not because they have to. When you can't pull rank, and let's be honest, that's most of the time, this is your go-to tool. And we have to be crystal clear about what we're talking about here. Real influence is built on things like earned respect and genuine collaboration. It is not manipulation to get your way, it's not pretending you have authority you don't, and it is definitely not about creating some kind of win-lose showdown. Healthy influence always brings people together. You know, Rich Mironov just nails the end goal with this quote. When you lead with influence, you're not just pushing features across a finish line. You're actually building a healthier, more aligned, and ultimately a much more successful organization. Okay, so we know what it is. Now, how do we actually build this skill? Well, we're going to use a simple but really powerful framework, the 3 pillars of influence. And you can think of them as the why, the who, and the how. Pillar number 1 is all about clarity and vision. This is the why. This is your strategic foundation. Because think about it. Without a clear and compelling direction, why would anyone follow you? So building your why means you become the keeper of the product vision. It's on you to constantly, relentlessly connect every single decision back to the larger business goals so that why is always front and center. When your team can see that North Star as clearly as you do, they won't just follow directions. They'll actually help you navigate the journey. But hey, a brilliant strategy is totally useless without the people to actually execute it. And that brings us right to our second pillar, connection and empathy. This is the who. Product development is a team sport, and your ability to connect with people on a real human level is completely non-negotiable. So how do you actually, systematically build that connection? Well, here's a powerful tool from a place you might not expect, the FBI's model for crisis negotiation. Seriously. Think of it like a ladder of trust, and notice where it all starts. Active listening. It's only after you've built empathy and then rapport that you can even begin to truly influence someone. All right, that brings us to our third and final pillar, credibility and trust. This is the how. This is how you prove, day in and day out, that you know what you're doing and that your team can count on you to make good calls. Look, building this kind of trust is a long game. It starts with data, because without it, you just got an opinion, right? It grows as you develop sharp business acumen, and ultimately it gets cemented by your track record. Credibility isn't just handed to you, it is earned, one successful outcome at a time. So we've covered the theory, the what and the why. Now let's get practical. Let's look at how you can put all of this into practice and start growing your own influence like today. And to answer that, you've really got to start with some honest self-reflection. Let's look at a couple of fantastic tools that can help you do just that. First up, check this out. The Skills Evaluation Wheel is an amazing tool for a balanced self-assessment. You can look at all these different areas: empathy, communication, strategic thinking. Be honest with yourself. Where are you strong, and where are your biggest opportunities to grow? This gives you a really clear place to start. But, self-assessment can only take you so far. The Johari window is this really powerful model for understanding your own blind spots. It maps what you know about yourself against what other people know about you. And the only way to shrink that blind spot quadrant is to get out there and actively ask for feedback from others. It all comes back to this timeless piece of wisdom from the great Peter Drucker. You cannot manage other people unless you manage yourself first. True influence, real leadership, it's an inside-out job. It starts with self-awareness and a real commitment to personal growth. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Your influence as a leader, it has a real gravity to it. It has this incredible power to pull people, teams, even entire organizations into a focused orbit around a shared vision. So the question is, are you consciously managing that force to pull your teams closer together, or are you accidentally pushing them apart? The choice is yours.